Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about sequence in SQL. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. First, let me define what is a sequence. Sequence is a set of integers that are generated and supported by some databases to produce unique values on demand. Let me discuss this one with a simple example. Let's consider that you have a table. In the table, you have one attribute. That attribute will take the unique values in a sequence. Suppose serial number is there. The serial number will start from 1, then it will go to 2, then 3, then 4. Then how many tuples are there in the table? That will be your sequence number. Suppose you have 5 tuples, then the sequence number will start from 1 and it will go up to the 5. Then you can say all these numbers are unique and all these numbers are in the sequence. In those cases, as an SQL developer, you don't want to give the sequence number values, or for those kind of attributes, you don't want to give the values or insert the values manually. You want to enter them automatically. Then you can create a sequence and use the sequence. So that's why I say that sequence is a set of integers that are generated and supported by some database to produce unique values on demand. And sequence is a user defined schema. So we need to create a sequence bound object that generates a sequence of numerical values. As I said, if you want to generate a sequence of numerical values or integers, then we can use the sequence. Further, the sequence of numeric values is generated either in the ascending order or descending order at defined intervals and can be configured to restart when exceeds maximum value. As I said earlier, you can have a sequence starting from 1, then next value will be 2, next value will be 3, like that. So what you are doing, all the elements or all the numbers are in the ascending order. Similarly, you want to start the sequence starting from 100 and you want to go up to the 0, then 100, then you will have 99, 98, like that. So these elements are there in the descending order. And you can observe one more thing. After 100, I am saying 99. So then what I am doing, I am incrementing by minus 1. Suppose 1 is there. If I want to make it as 2, then what I have to increment? I have to increment by 1. So after 1, you will get the 2. Suppose if I want to increment by 2, then if the start value is 1, then the next value will be 3. Next value will be 5. So that will, the increment value defines the interval. And remember one more important point. If the sequence have reached to the maximum value, then it will start from the minimum value. Suppose let's take that I have created a sequence starting from 1, incremented by 1, and minimum value is 0, and then maximum value is 5. So I'm writing simply start value is 1, incremented by 1. I will discuss the syntax. Before that, let me tell you this point. Increment by 1, minimum value is 0, maximum value is 5. Then it will start from 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Once it reaches the maximum value, again it will start from minimum value. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again 0, 1, 2, 3, like that it will go. So that is the meaning of it can be configured to restart when exceeds the maximum value. And one more advantage of the sequence is it can be shared. Once you created a sequence, that sequence you can use for multiple attributes and also for the multiple tables. So that is the advantage of sequence. Now let me discuss the syntax of creating a sequence. You need to write create sequence, sequence name, let me provide sequence underscore name. Then as I said earlier, you need to start with something. So you need to provide the start value. So start with initial value you need to provide. Let me write it as initial underscore value. Then you need to increment by the increment value you need to provide. Increment underscore value. Some number you need to provide, and then you need to provide the minimum value, which is minimum underscore value. And similarly you need to provide the max value, which is nothing but max underscore value. Some value you need to provide here. Max underscore value means some value. Let me discuss with an examples also. Then you need to provide whether it is a cycle or no cycle. What is the meaning of cycle and no cycle? By default it is no cycle. Once it reaches the maximum value and you provide as no cycle, then the next value will be not raised. It will raise an error. Suppose in the previous example I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 0, 1, 2, 3, like that, right? Then meaning is that you have provided a cycle. In place of cycle, if I provide no cycle, after producing the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then next value will not be 0. It will rise in an error. By default it is no cycle. And similarly you have the cache. How many next elements you want to keep in the cache memory? By default it is 20. I can change it to 10. So by default it is 20. So next 20 elements will be stored in the cache memory. If I write cache 10, next 10 elements will be stored in the cache memory. And remember one thing, the cache size whatever you have provided should be greater than your maximum value. All these things I will discuss now with a simple example. Before that, let me discuss what is the initial value. Initial value provides the starting value from where the sequence should start. And remember one important point. Initial value should be greater than or equal to minimum value and less than or equal to maximum value. Increment value provides value by which sequence will increment itself. This increment value either can be a positive value or it can be a negative value. If you want to decrement, then you will provide the increment value as a negative value. If you want to increase them, you will provide as positive value. Then you have the cycle. When sequence reaches its maximum value, then it starts from again beginning, mean minimum value. If you provide no cycle, an exception will be thrown if sequence exceeds its maximum value. By default it is no cycle. And even you have the cache. So next elements, how many elements you want to keep in the cache memory, that you will discuss as cache some value. If it does not provide that one, by default next 20 elements will be stored. If I write as cache 10, next 10 values or numbers will be stored in the cache memory. And remember one important point, the size of the cache should be greater than maximum value. Now let me discuss these things with an example. Let me create one sequence. Okay, so how I will write, create sequence, and I want to write sequence as SCQ underscore 1, and then I need to provide start with value. Let me provide a start value as 1, then I will increment the value by 1, and the minimum value let me provide as 0, maximum value let me provide as 100, instead of 100 let me provide as 5. Then I am providing cycle. Even now I need to provide the cache value. Let me provide the cache value as 2, because if I keep that one by default, then cache size is 20, but your maximum value is 5. I told you the maximum value should be greater than the cache value. Suppose if I leave it as default value, cache size is 20. So 5 is less than 20, so it will raise an error. So that's why what I have done, cache 2, meaning is that next 2 numbers will be stored in the cache memory. So here what it is doing is that it will start from 1 and it will be incremented by 1, and maximum value it reaches as 5. Sequence will repeat itself from start value after exceeding 5. Again it will start from the minimum value like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then again 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that it will happen. Now let me discuss another example. Let me create a sequence called sequence underscore 2. SCQ underscore 2. Let me provide the start value as some 100 and then increment by a negative number. Let me provide -1. Now what I want to do is that I want to arrange the elements in the descending order, and I am providing min value is 1, maximum value is 100, and then cycle. Let me end with semicolon. Now if I does not provide the cache size also, it's not a problem, because by default it is 20, maximum value is 100, which is greater than 20, so it will not raise an error. Or if you want to provide the size of the cache also, you can do cache 30. Then meaning is that next 30 numbers will be stored in the cache memory. So in this example, it will start from 100 because you have provided the start value is 100 and should be less than or equal to maximum value, and will be incremented by -1, having the minimum value is 1. Already I told you the start value should be either less than or equal to maximum value or greater than or equal to minimum value. 1 is greater than 100, so it is fine. 100 is equal to 100, so it is absolutely fine. So like this you can create a sequence. Sir, I have created a sequence. If I want to drop a sequence, then what is syntax? Drop the sequence. How can we do it? This is very simple. Drop sequence, and then you need to provide the sequence name. Let me end with a semicolon. So whatever the sequence you have created, it will be dropped. Now we will discuss these things practically using SQL Plus. If you want to get information about a sequence, then you can write DESC user underscore sequences, end with semicolon. Then it will provide the sequence name, minimum value, maximum value, increment by, order, cache size, last number, all these things. So start sequence number is a name, minimum value is a number, maximum value is a number, all these things. If you want to create a sequence, let me discuss. Already we know the syntax. So create sequence. Let me create a sequence as SCQ underscore 1. Let me start with 1 and I need to increment by 1, and then minimum value, let me provide it as 0, and then max value, let me provide it as 5, and then let me provide it as cycle. Let me end with semicolon. Then you can observe what will happen. It will raise an error. Look at here. Number to cache must be less than 1 cycle. Okay, because maximum value is 5, which is less than the default value of the cache, which is 20. So that's why it is raising an error. So let me modify that one, cycle, and then cache I will provide it as 2. Let me save this one and close it and provide the backslash. Now the sequence has been successfully created. I will create a table. Create table. Let me provide it as sample 22. I will provide it as S number, which is a number of size 20, and then I will take the S name, which is varchar2 of size 20. Let me end with semicolon. The table has been successfully created. If you want to look at the description of the table called sample 22, you can write DESC sample 22. Then you can see there are two attributes called S number and S name, whose data type is number and varchar2 respectively. Now I want to insert the values into the sample 22 table using the sequence called SCQ underscore 1. Then if you want to insert the values, what is the syntax? Insert into table name, which is sample 22 values, and then I need to provide the sequence name, which is SCQ underscore 1 dot next val comma, because for the first attribute I want to have the sequence called seq underscore 1. The next value I need to take from the user. Let me write at the rate value, and I'm providing it in the single quotes because I want to take a string. Let me end with a semicolon. Now it is asking enter a value. Let me enter a. Now one row has been successfully created. If you want to verify, we will discuss that one. Select star from sample 22. Let me end with semicolon. So you can see serial number 1 and S name is A. I have not inserted value 1. By default, the sequence underscore 1 has started from the start value, which is 1. Now I want to insert the next value. I will write insert into sample 22 values. Again you can write sequence underscore 1 next val comma within the single quotes I will write val. So it is useful for you to take the user input from the user. Now let me enter B. Then one row has been successfully created. Now let me press the ed. Then the whatever the successful command will be displayed. Again I want to execute that one. So I will not modify. I will close. Again backslash. So again this insert into sample 22 values statement again executed. So let me enter the value as C. Again I want to execute that one. So I will repeat the process again. D. Insert the value. Oh sorry, first I need to grab backslash right. Insert the value E. Then again let me insert the value backslash F. Then again ed. Save it, close it. I am not modifying, just I want to execute the previous statement again. G. Then ed. Close it. Slash. Slash. What is the value? H I want to insert. So we have created several rows or tuples. If you want to display the data, let me write select star from sample 22. End with the semicolon. Now you can see it started from serial number 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Again it started from 0, 1, 2 like that. I hope you have understood about the sequence. Already I told you that sequence can be shared. So whatever the sequence I have created, sequence underscore 1, can I use it for another table? We will verify. So what I will do, I will create another table called sample 23. Create tables. Table name is sample 23. I will give the attribute name as e number, which is of number size 20. Then e name varchar 2 of size 20. Let me end with semicolon. A table has been created. Now I want to insert the values for the e name, and for the e number I want to do it with the help of sequence underscore 1. So I will write insert into sample 23 values sequence, which is the sequence underscore 1, which is the name of the sequence, and you want to give the next value. So next val comma, and I want to give at the rate val, so which is required to read the input from the user. E name let me enter as Jagadish. Okay, again I want to execute the previous statement. So I will press ed and close it backslash. Now again it is asking me to enter the value. Let me give it as Ravi. Again ed, save it, close it. I am not modifying the statement. Now Ravi, Rajesh. Again ed, just close this one. Ravi, Ramesh, some values I will give. Then ed, close it, backslash. Again it will ask you to insert the value. This time Ruhi. Then again ed, close this one. Santosh. ed, close it. Siri. Again ed, close this one. Slash. So I am creating multiple tuples or multiple rows, or I am inserting them. Frankly, if I have to say it is, I'm inserting the rows into the table called sample 23. Let me give Parnika. So I have inserted multiple rows. So I will write select, if I want to display them, select star from sample 23 and with semicolon. Now you can see it started from 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why it has started from 3? Because the sequence ended previously up to the 2. Then again, if you are generating the sequence, it is starting from 3. I hope you have understood that point, because in the earlier table, if you look at that one, let me try to open this one. Here it started from the serial number 1 and it went up to the 2. Then the next sequence number will be what? 3. So that's why when you have shared this one, it started from 3. Now, if I want to drop a sequence, as I said earlier, you can use drop sequence name, which is sequence SQ_1. Now you can see the sequence has been successfully dropped. I hope you have understood about the sequence. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.